Imagine being invincible, never losing your balance no matter what happens to you, turning every setback into a win, and laughing in the face of situations where others would break down. Being so genuinely fulfilled within yourself that losing your money, possessions, and relationships would not take away all of your happiness. And despite what you may be thinking, this is not impossible. This is the result of self-mastery, and we all have the means to attain this, yet we choose to focus on everything else, everything external. Money, social status, relationships, possessions. They're all seen as more important than the development of our minds because we've been conditioned to believe so. And yet, despite the favorable lifestyle that these things can provide you, none of them are truly yours because it can all be taken away from you at any time. The one thing at the foundation of your life that you can choose to invest in and never lose is your own psychological well-being. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why a failure to prioritize your mind will result in your unhappiness and how you can start to turn this around. We all want to be happy and successful in life, but very few of us grasp that this can be achieved by directly focusing on our minds. Instead, when we think about being better, we think about losing weight, being in a relationship, obtaining money and status. And from a young age, we're taught that we need to get good grades, excel academically, work hard. And then as we grow older, we become conscious of attracting the perfect partner, getting our dream job, house, family, etc. The general idea is that once you've achieved success in these areas, you will be happy and you've made it in life. Now, I'm not saying that these things are not important because they definitely are, and your lifestyle will shape you to a certain extent. But the issue is that we are never taught to cultivate what truly matters, and that is our minds. We're never taught in school how to better ourselves when it comes to wisdom, overall well-being, and our characters, even though our minds are at the foundation of everything else we do in our lives. The result is people who are highly successful on paper, but are still miserable at the end of the day. Problems in their relationships, finances, or status causes them inner turmoil because they lack the self-mastery to effectively recover. On the other hand, there are people who don't have this ideal lifestyle on paper and go through intense hardships, but are still content at the end of the day because they've achieved greatness of the mind. This alone should tell you that happiness does not come from anything external. Those things are important too, but they should be secondary. If you place all of your happiness on them, then what you have isn't truly happiness, it's just an illusion. An illusion that can be taken away the moment your relationship is in jeopardy or it fails, or you lose your money or your possessions, or your standing in society. Now, I'm not saying that we can be completely immune to pain or somehow completely unaffected by tragic events or painful situations. Even the invincible person that I mentioned in the intro still has human emotions. If you've been through some hurtful situations or are still going through one right now, then I sympathize with you and you don't need to invalidate how you feel. However, you also don't need to give in to your current state of mind. Before you accept your suffering, ask yourself if there are people who are going through similar or even more painful situations than you are, who still manage to prosper. The answer is almost certainly yes, and if they can do it, then you can too. You've likely heard the cliched phrases, happiness is a choice and happiness comes from within. But these need to be combined with rational introspection in order to actually be useful. With time and effort, you can view your pain as something that can be removed from the root. It doesn't happen by chance or by simply thinking positively. It takes deep inner work to replace your faulty beliefs, triggers, and behaviors with ones that will bring you more happiness. In fact, designing your mind in this way will actually bring you excitement and a larger sense of purpose in itself. So now I'm going to talk about the mindset that you need to consistently use in order to work on true happiness. Now that you understand that happiness comes from your mind and not external events, let's talk about how you can start to develop it. What you need to know is that this is a long-term goal that you must dedicate yourself to if you're serious about it. It's not going to happen overnight by thinking positively or showing gratitude. And adding positive thoughts to your mind will not take away the negative ones. This must be a long-term goal that you consistently work on if you want to see results. You're probably accustomed to seeing quick fixes online when it comes to happiness, such as positive affirmations, eating a more balanced diet, having good company, etc. But these things are not really tackling the root cause. And tackling the root cause is not going to happen in days or weeks, but months and years. It's a lifelong goal because it takes immense amounts of inner work. You need to see that your mind is deeply flawed, as is mine. And this is what prevents us from being our ideal selves. Maybe you're too afraid to take action and chase your goals. Maybe you have an inner critic in your head telling you that you're not good enough no matter what you do. Or maybe you're just too distracted to focus on anything at all. The point is that you first need to recognize these faults in your mind, take responsibility for them instead of blaming them on external circumstances, and then program them out for good. You need to be able to distance yourself from your mind and objectively look at and identify your faulty ways of thinking. I go into detail and explain how you can do this in my previous video to eliminate negative emotions, but for now I just want you to understand that this is a mindset that you can take with you throughout your life, no matter what's happening. Unlike everything else which is external, nothing can take away your ability to design and better your mind. When your external world is in chaos, you can choose to place your focus on your internal world. Throughout history, there have been great thinkers who have suffered immensely, but still managed to thrive. Stoic philosopher Seneca was a crippled slave. Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl was a Holocaust survivor, and Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius lost most of his children. It's very unlikely that most of us will go through such difficulties in our day and age, and yet our minds still find ways to obstruct our happiness. Don't allow society to tell you that you are a failure if your professional or social life is lacking. Don't envy people who have seemingly better lives than you, unless you know for a fact that they have also mastered their minds. Yes, your environment, lifestyle, and relationships are important, and they will shape your mind to an extent, but at the end of the day, your happiness is entirely reliant on how much you have developed your mind. And you can choose to start working on this today. Rack up your internal accomplishments alongside your external ones. Get to the point where a situation that once would have made you break down now doesn't even faze you at all. If you ask me, that's a far greater accomplishment than anything you can hope to achieve in the outside world. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you now see why you are unhappy and how you can begin to reverse this. Subscribe for more tips and wisdom, and I hope to see you in my next video.